The culture and beauty in the Renaissance era. The Renaissance was a period of European cultural, artistic, political, and economic rebirth following the Middle Ages. It's described as taking place from the 14th century to the 17th century. The Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art. One of the most important things to those who had money during this era was beauty. Fitting into the high social classes' beauty standards meant that you were of higher importance to those who didn't. There's many aspects of today's beauty standards that don't align with the ones from centuries ago. Many of the things that we find unattractive in today's society were ideal to those in the Renaissance era. A classic male beauty would be youthful and athletic, have a straight Romanesque nose and strong chin, almost certainly covered by a beard if they were old enough to grow one. Beards symbolized their masculinity, which most women found attractive because of how confident it made the man. Most men had a bobbed haircut, but the length of their hair was chosen by the individual taste. Hats were mandatory in public. You could be fined if you didn't wear one. The hats were either simple and plain or pretty elaborate, depending on wealth and status. Instead of sitting out in the sun hoping that it would bleach their hair as women did, men relied mostly on their clothing to make themselves look superior. Different countries had different ideas of a well-dressed man, so in Northern European countries, they distorted the natural figure using padding sleeves, doublets, and stockings. In Italy, England, and France, they stuck to more medieval styles. Germans ended up making the most extreme changes to the natural silhouette. They would put large puffs at the head, shoulders, and thighs. They put small puffs over the chest, back, arms, legs, and feet. They also put feathers on everything from wide-brimmed hats to the knees. So when it comes to women's looks, which is objectively more interesting, pale skin was extremely attractive. They wanted to look borderline sickly. So this stemmed from when tuberculosis was at large in this era, and it would make people's skin as white as a sheet and their lips and cheeks rosy and pink. One interesting and very important detail of this time is that the quality of both a wife's behavior and looks were thought to reflect her husband's status. Therefore, women during this period did everything they possibly could to make themselves look beautiful, as it wasn't just her reputation at stake, but her husband's as well. So for important social events, women would go as far as putting leeches on their face to suck the blood out, leaving them with a pale look. This was a bit dangerous for some women, so for those who wanted to stay away from skin lesions, they would use egg whites and sometimes vinegar on their faces to make them look paler. When it came to makeup, wealthy women would use saffron to highlight their cheekbones and rouge for their lips and cheeks. You may be wondering, why drain the blood from your face in the first place and then apply makeup to simulate rosy cheeks later? However, the specific beauty ideal during this time was extremely pale skin and rosy cheeks, which is different from natural blushing and flushing, which usually shows over a larger area of the face. Also a large forehead, which is something that's not desirable in this day and age, was something that women desperately desired for in this era. They would pluck their hairlines to make it look like their forehead was bigger than it actually was, and eyebrows were tweezed to look like they almost weren't there, once again to give the forehead an even larger look. So this is actually the reason why on some of the Renaissance paintings of women, it looks like their facial features are way farther down on their face than they should be. Golden blonde hair was the standard for the women in this era, so many brunettes had to become creative when lightening their hair. Saffron and onion skin dyes, as well as elements like alum, sulfur, and soda, were commonly used for this purpose. However, most of these products didn't work on their own, so they required long hours in the hot sun, which served as the heating mechanism that activated the bleach. And they would wear these hats with a cutout crown to protect their skin from getting tanned by the sun, but their hair would still get bleached as well. And some popular hairstyles during the Renaissance included an intricate braided updo, half-up braided bun, ultra-long plaits, triple braided buns, wavy half up hair, crown braid, rolled updo, and intricate ponytails. So kind of think of like Game of Thrones hair in King's Landing. Those were some of the outrageous things that the women of the Renaissance era thought they had to do in order to be beautiful. It's really interesting to see how the beauty standards have morphed into the ones we have today.